Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos, and in today's video we are going to look at Primordial Stones because, believe it or not, Blizzard has buffed slash nerfed several of them in the past couple of hours, immediately after my video about them came out, which is tradition, of course. So let's talk about what's happening to the different stones. First of all, what happened 4 hours ago as of now, while I was fast asleep, was several stones got hotfixed to be able to crit, which is a sizable buff to each of those stones: Flame Licked, Deluging Water, Swirling Mojo, Pestilent Plague, and Wind Spirit, which some of these are healing ones, but others were damage ones, and now can crit. Second of all, then, 2 hours ago, we saw buffs to many of them, which are Searing Smoky Stone, which is the one where you interrupt, 34% buff, AoE damage one. Rolling Magma, Echoing Thunder, Flame Licked, all got 12%. Storm Infused, 34%. Desirous Blood got an 18.5% buff. This one is important because it's part of the combo with Twilight Prophetic Stone, but its RPPM was reduced to 2.25 from 2.5, so it got a slight nerf to how often it triggers. Now, this stone is part of the combo that I talked about in my other video of Desirous Blood plus Prophetic Twilight, right, which says damaging effects from your Primordial Stones trigger one of your healing effects and vice versa. Desirous Blood is both a damage and healing effect, and so this causes it to... Basically, if you have this and one other, either damage or healing stone equipped, they will both trigger each other whenever either one procs through the Prophetic Twilight Stone, which is pretty powerful, right? And that's... that basically means that the Prophetic Twilight Stone, you're kind of getting 4 effects, right? You're getting double the procs of one, double the procs of another, and then a stone that is being the combo piece making that happen. So you get 4 procs instead of 3 out of your ring. And if you have, this and another good damage one, then that gives you extra procs, right? And that's valuable. However, with the RPPM reduced here, this, even though the effect has been buffed by a little bit, the RPPM reduction is reducing the proc rate of both the Desirous Bloodstone and the other stone that you have equipped because of that combo, which does mean that while every other combo of gems is getting sizable buffs, right, the Desirous Blood plus something else plus Prophetic Twilight combo is getting much less buffed, and maybe in some cases even nerfed, but it's probably still gaining. It's just gaining less than other gem combos. Then we've got Pestilent Plague here, massive buff here, which is also, this is an AoE stone, so definitely something to look out for. Wild Spirit Stone, this one is a healing one. Exuding Steam Stone, again, these healing ones are getting buffs by unbelievably massive percentages, which means that I believe now that this ring is also worth it for healers, not just for damage, but also for HPS, and also probably for tanks for HPS as well. Although tanks probably more interested in stuff like this Frost Stone, although this effect was one of the smaller buffs. These Absorb Shield things, because they won't overheal you quite as often as these other gems will. Although, Exuding Steam Stone, 68%, potentially something valuable. Maybe you still combo these with the Prophetic Twilight Stone and then a good damage stone. I'm not sure. Deluging Water Stone, another healing one, a smaller buff. Gleaming Iron Stone, this one is Standing Still. You get a shield and auto attack damage, another small buff. Shining Obsidian and Indomitable Earth, so that's a shield stone and a shield stone. This one is a damage proc when you get a shield from a Primordial Stone, so they're trying to put up like a shield stone build, but again, these are all pretty small buffs compared to some of the other stones, especially compared to Storm Infused. I was already using Storm Infused. I tried Storm Infused instead of Humming Arcane in this ring, and it was fine as well. It was better AoE damage. This one's getting a 34% buff, so a good chance that I'm going back over to that off of these changes, because there's 2 nerfs included in here as well. Swirling Mojo Stone. Mojos can no longer go to your mailbox and are unique one. There was an abuse that people were doing with this, a little buggy wuggy where you would get a bunch of mojos sent to your mailbox and then use them all in a key or whatever, and that would be really good. So that can't work anymore. Now, Humming Arcane Stone has gotten a 20-second ICD added to it as well, which its proc rate, I don't know what its proc rate was before, but it was quite high. And on a 20-second ICD, I assume this is a massive, massive nerf to the ground for the Humming Arcane Stone, and it's probably no longer worth using. So this combo that I talked about earlier, probably no longer good. It's possible that it'll be worth it to use, like, let's see. It's possible it'll be worth it to use this combo, but with Storm Infused instead, which is nice because I have Storm Infused leveled up, because I had tried that as well. So it's possible that this combo will still be good, although it's possible you just want Storm Infused and then like 2 other damage ones, or Storm Infused, you know, a damage one and a shield one or something like that is maybe worth as well. Maybe Storm Infused, Flame Licked, Searing Smoky or something for M+. I have no idea. And because of the way that Blizzard has done this, I'm not really in a position to really test it very much because, you know, I'm out of stones. I've done all my Zeskara vaults for the week on this character. If I want to upgrade another stone, I would need to dust some of my stones, and I don't really feel like dusting stones right now. I've already had to dust stones to level up the 4 ones that I've leveled up so far, these ones plus the Humming Arcane Stone, and now leveling up this one was a huge mistake retroactively, right? So really does not feel particularly good. Now, luckily, it doesn't matter because this patch is, you know, it's not in the middle of any important content. I do want to do some keys this week. You know, I've been trying to push some plus score a little bit. I want to do Ruby Life Pools Fortified at some point this week. That's kind of the only key I really need to get done. So, and I got all my Fortified score kind of locked up. It should be good with that. But, you know, at least there's no raid and stuff going on. But it does still just shock me. It shocks me that it was known that the stones were going to be in this state for so long. It was talked about. You know, everybody was talking about it, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be good." But then they don't just buff them symmetrically; they buff and nerf stones differently. And now this currency it's weekly time gated, right? I've earned all of the currency I can this week of these stones, pretty much. I guess I could keep farming the elemental storms maybe and get 1 more stone every so often from those, but it's, you know, I've done all my Zeskara vaults for the week. I've done all that, and so yeah, it's not a particularly good feeling. I will say, you know, if you feel like this is awful or something like that, that's it's not like a big deal, right? Because it's not in the middle of progression. It's not anything like that. But it is perplexing. It's like, why? This seems like such an unforced error. You know, this patch is so cool. They've added this zone. They've added a bunch of rares. They've got this cool place. Like, what? Why do they? Why did this have to happen like this? This is like such an obvious thing that they were bumbling into, and then it goes exactly like this. And now also with the stones buffed like this, they're going to be in a position where they're going to have to nerf them if they want it to be true that we're going to replace them with a mythic ring from next tier, because absolutely these effects at this power level are going to be better than a mythic Aberrus ring for at least several specs, right? For the specs that the ring was already good for before they made these buffs, mythic Aberrus rings are now way worse than it. And there are going to be some specs that maybe mythic Aberrus rings are better, but now everybody is going to want to have gems equipped, which, you know, that was their goal, but it's like, I'm just so confused by how this all went down. And, you know, like if these buffs came in on Monday instead of today or whatever, then that would be one thing, right? But now we're all in this spot. People are in this spot where they've committed their currency, and it's just so weird. Again, doesn't matter. Right, we're gonna get a bunch of new currency next week. Pretty soon, you'll be able to have, you know, if you just full clear the Zeskara vaults for a couple weeks in a row, it's really not like a big deal. It's not something. It's nowhere near as bad as Shards of Domination, but it is bad in the same way that Shards of Domination was bad, where they, like, you know, they buffed the Unholy and Frost set, or they buffed the Frost and Blood sets. They nerfed the Unholy set, and then they were like, "Oops, okay, we won't nerf it." But they buffed the other ones, which effectively made you have picked the wrong one. For in a lot of cases, if you'd upgraded the Unholy ones. And that one obviously was really bad because it was many more weeks that you committed to which one you were upgrading, and it was in the middle of progression. It was the start of the patch. It was the flagship system of a major patch rather than a minor patch. But still, it is puzzling and worrying that they've done this, of kind of walking face first into a problem that everybody was saying was going to exist. That's the kind of thing that, you know, I thought that we'd kind of moved away from after 9.1.5. It seems like they've been doing a good job of moving away from that and of being responsive to problems before they arose, and in beta cycles and stuff. And this system is just, again, it's a minor system. It's so small, it doesn't really matter, but it's very worrying because it's the same pattern that made Shadowlands suck early on. And if this happens with something important in a future patch, that's going to really suck. So that's my opinion bit on this. If you're wondering which combinations are best for you, I don't have that right now. I don't have that information. I won't be able to test a lot of these combos as well because I won't be able to upgrade. Like, I can upgrade maybe 2 or 3 more stones if I just dust the rest of them. So maybe I'll do that at some point this week. But I'm probably gonna be running with Storm Infused Prophetic Twilight Desirous Blood, and hopefully that's good. But it's very possible that there's something better. And again, the mplus.subcreation.net site is a good place to go for M+, and the raid.subcreation.net for raid. Click through to your spec. Check on the primordials people are using. Wait a little bit, because now these are all the old combos, right? These are what people were using pre-buff. So wait a little bit, and then after a couple days, this should start being pretty accurate for like what the best ones are. There's also a couple other nerfs, a couple other changes. Affliction Warlock was getting corruption ticks whenever a Seed of Corruption exploded or whenever an application of corruption was refreshed. That is now getting nerfed, so you won't get an instant corruption tick, so a little bit of an AoE damage, especially nerfed to Affliction Warlock, although not a huge one. And Winterpelt Totem. I don't know if you knew about this trinket. I tried this in M+. It wasn't very good. It was almost competitive, though, at 392 with a 421 trinket, but it wasn't quite better. And this would have been way better in raid because it's supposed to give this buff to your party, but it was affecting your whole raid, and so it was doing people's top damage. So that they fixed that as well. So if you're farming Winterpelt Furbolg rep for that, first of all, it's not a very long grind, so it doesn't really matter. But not surprised that they have nerfed this to actually only do what it said in the effect. And honestly, at 392, this is probably still a quite overtuned 392 trinket if you're using it well and you're in a good group for it. So anyways, that is our look at the stones, the hot fixes that have come in today. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you're enjoying the patch as well. Let me know what you think in the comments below if I'm being too much of a doomer about just this whole thing. I'm not even so much of a doomer. I'm just so confused. I'm confused about why it's going like this, and I guess I am a little bit of a doomer because it does cause me to be worried about the future again. Which, yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.